Welcome everyone to Gamer Melt. Today we have some of the biggest stories of the year, starting with Nvidia's mining limiter being overridden, Gigabyte's response to exploding PSUs, AMD's RX 7000 GPUs made official, and Intel's first gaming GPUs are official. They show them running games, release, and more. Okay, it's news time, and first up for today, it looks like miners have at least partially cracked Nvidia's light hash rate series of GPUs. If you haven't followed the news on this, a little while back, Nvidia announced that their RTX 3060 GPU would release with a limiter that cuts the performance of Ethereum mining in half. The issue is that it was only software based, but Nvidia assured us that it wouldn't be cracked because it requires a talk between the driver and BIOS. Then they accidentally released a driver that effectively overrides it with some limitations. After that, Nvidia decided to re-release a bunch of their cards with what they called LHR, or light hash rate. This basically did the same thing, but hopefully without Nvidia releasing drivers to override it. Well, it looks like they won't have to, as the mining software NB Miner found a bit of a workaround. According to the changelog, the tool can now unlock up to 70% of the mining performance for Nvidia's LHR GPUs. The developer currently suggests you set the software to 68% of the card's performance, which obviously isn't 100%, but it's a whole lot better than 50%. What's so frustrating about this is that Nvidia likely could have done something to the hardware to fix it. I guess it's better than nothing, but who knows how long it'll be before miners get 100% performance. But first, if you're looking for a top-of-the-line custom gaming PC that's hand-built by a professional, look no further than today's sponsor, Digital Storm. The veteran PC builders with over 20 years of experience, and it shows. From the emails they send documenting each stage of the build process to the seriously impressive packaging, Digital Storm knows what they're doing. Plus, they offer a ton of options for every enthusiast, from custom water cooling to even sleeved cables, and it's basically just plug and play. Digital Storm installs everything you need and tests it all out before shipping. Oh, and every build comes with lifetime support, 1-year parts warranty, and 3 years labor. So take the guesswork out of PC building by visiting the link in the description below. Next up for today, there's been some recent reports of Gigabyte's GPP 750GM and GPP 850GM PSUs basically exploding during tests from reviewers. Well, the company has responded, and it's an odd one. First, I will say that they're offering returns or exchanges for those who own the PSUs with the serial numbers they give, and that's definitely a good thing. But they're more or less sidestepping the issue by saying it only occurs during extended periods of extreme load, claiming that normal use case scenarios shouldn't do it. The issue is that I don't want any scenario blowing up my PSU. Not only that, but the weirdest response is in the first paragraph, where they state, quote, Gigabyte is aware of certain media outfits casting doubt over the quality of power supply models, and so on. What? Casting doubt? You literally acknowledge there's an issue. I mean, they even lowered the overpower protection trigger points to fix it, so they know there's a problem. Basically, it's almost like they're blaming the reviewers instead of just owning up to the issue. If it's possible to fry the GPU without anything other than dynamite, I'd call that a problem. Next up, AMD's rumored Navi 31 and Navi 33 GPUs have been made official. Remember that these are set to be AMD's 7000 series of cards, or whatever they end up being called. We'll use 7000 as a placeholder for now. Either way, originally found and shared by resident leaker Komachi, AMD added the two GPUs to their official Radeon Open Developer Tools via GitHub. That obviously means AMD is in fact working on their upcoming Navi 31 and Navi 33 parts, and that lends credence to the leaks claiming that AMD is moving into an MCM design for their next-gen parts. Time, as always, will tell. And lastly for today, Intel officially showed off their discrete gaming GPUs, playing some games along with the branding, release, and more. So let's get right to it. First up, Intel revealed the new branding for their upcoming parts called ARC. and these are based on their Xe HPG architecture, so we're talking high-end gaming GPUs. Not only that, but Intel confirmed that their first generation parts
is now codenamed Alchemist,
and they include support for hardware ray tracing, AI-based super sampling, and full support for DirectX 12 Ultimate. Next, Intel showed off some images of their upcoming GPUs, and from what we can gather, the big one looks to be 512 EUs, with the small one being 128. Remember that Tiger Lake only comes with up to 96 EUs, and it does really well at gaming, at least for it being an ultra low power part plus an integrated GPU. Think about how good over 5 times the cores that would be with 20 times the power headroom. And the news doesn't stop there. Intel also discussed a successor to Alchemist called Battlemage, followed by Celestial and then Druid. But of course, we have to actually get Alchemist before talking follow-ups. And to that, Intel officially announced that their first gen parts will begin releasing in the first quarter of 2022, which means the recent leak I covered claiming that they would be out at CES is likely correct. Of course, that is a little ways off still, but Intel also shared a video that shows a bunch of video games running on pre-production silicon. And as you can see, it's running some pretty intense games. Don't forget that it's set to come with hardware ray tracing and everything. Basically, Intel's first-gen Arc GPUs look really promising, with support for all the new stuff, even with their own super sampling to combat Nvidia's DLSS and AMD's FSR. All in all, a new competitor to the GPU market is here, and they're coming first thing next year. So while that does it for today, are you excited to finally get a hold of an Intel GPU? Or do you think it doesn't stand a chance against AMD and Nvidia? Let me know down in the comments below. And if you liked the video, please subscribe. And as always, have a great day!